Hello and welcome. This is BQ Prime. I am Agam Vakil and you're watching the F&O show, a show in which we take you through all that is happening in the markets and specifically from the derivatives end of things. As far as futures and options are concerned, well, at the moment, we are having a little bit of weakness and of course seeping through based on that a lot in terms of your benchmarks. So for now, of course, we're looking at a decline of around 0.4 of a percentage point for both the Sensex and as well as the Nifty. So we're not exactly having a best start to the week. That said, we're at the moment, of course, on an intraday basis as well. At least the Nifty is currently trending at near its today's low, and it's the same for the Bank Nifty as well. Bank Nifty has also given up its gains through the course of the day. That said, let's also take a look at what's happening in the options space. And for now, as far as the options are concerned, well, as one might expect, a lot of activity has now come off from the kind of levels that we were seeing last week. So at the moment, the maximum open interest for this weekly expiry for the Nifty as well has shifted to the 19,800 call. And of course, 19,500 put has now been activated. In fact, we're seeing a lot more activity around the 19,500 and 19,400 puts as well. Significant amount of addition there. And of course, on the higher end, in today's day of trade, we're in fact starting to see a lot more writing around the 19,500 calls as well. The picture is not very different for the Bank Nifty. The Bank Nifty once again showing signs of weakness, and it is essentially the 43,800 mark where we're seeing a lot of activity. In fact, both calls and puts written out there. Don't forget, today we also have the weekly options expiry for not just Fin Nifty, but also Mid-Cap Nifty, and of course the BankX options on the Sensex. Pardon me, the Bombay Stock Exchange. So, well, we do have plenty of expiries which are active in today's day of trade, but we're going to have to wait and watch as to where they go. But on that note, let's bring in an expert voice and see what they have to say with respect to where the markets are currently headed and how you'd play them. Well, we have Osho Krishan, who's a research analyst for technical and derivatives at Angel One. Osho, good morning, and thank you so much for joining in. Why don't you take us through how you see the markets right now, and also potentially how you would play the Nifty at the moment?
Very good morning, Agam. First of all, thank you for having me on your show. Well, when I'm talking about Nifty, so Nifty, if we will be seeing the previous week's development, and it has made a very strong bearish candle pattern on the technical charts. And even today, the global sentiments are quite negative. Dow Jones future has given some kind of positive momentum for the initial start for our market, and looking at which our market has started on the positive note. But that to be given because we are not very much strong from the geopolitical subside, so there can be some kind of weakness that can be seen. And even on the technical perspective, 19,500, which was expected to be a very strong support zone for Nifty, that seems to be lacking as of now, as Nifty slipped below 19,500. So we are expecting that from here onwards on the downside, 19,400 levels can be seen. Coming to this, because we already have a truncated week, so there won't be very much aggressive bulls that will be taking place, or that will be having their aggressive bets in today's market. And overall, the sentiments from global markets and our markets are also not quite bullish. So we are expecting that once 19,500 is breached as of now, so one can expect the downside towards 19,400 on immediate basis. So aggressive traders can look for 19,400 as a immediate target. But looking at the overall picture, because already we have seen a strong fallback from the zone of 19,850 in the previous week. So from here onwards, one can expect, because even on the downside, 19,333 is the next level that one can look for. So overall sentiments are on bit negative side. And until we see a relief from the global market, we are expecting that our market will remain in consolidation sideways to a negative terrain. So overall sentiments remains like this. Overall, if we will be looking at the advanced decline ratio, so then it is also on the bearish front. Approximately on Nifty, approximately 16 to 1700 counters are on the negative side. So overall sentiments are quite bearish. So one should stay towards the market sentiments and look for opportunities on the selling perspective.
Right. don't forget that over the last 2 weeks we have moved substantially higher and then eventually given up all the gains. About 2 weeks ago, we had in fact tested levels of around somewhere around 19,300, 350 thereabout. And well, after moving up substantially higher, we've given up a considerable amount of those gains, and we're once again looking at testing those levels, at least on the Nifty. But let's talk about the Bank Nifty then. And at the moment, as I was mentioning, the picture is not very different. We are, in fact, looking at the Bank Nifty trading at lows of several weeks, or rather testing it. Of course, Friday was a tough session for the Bank Nifty, even though it recovered from its day lows. Osho, how do you play the Bank Nifty, and would you play it similarly to the Nifty, or do you see more weakness here?
See, overall, Bank Nifty is at a very critical zone. If looking at the technical perspective, it is even worse on the technical chart as compared to Nifty 50. Because on the downside, 43,600 is the zone, which is break or make kind of a zone. So one should wait for such levels. Either there can be a pullback on the higher end, or if it breaches below 43,600 on a decisive or on a closing manner, then we can see a very strong fall on the downside. So immediate target, if it breaches below 43,600, will be 43,200, which is the 200-day SMA. And because we will be looking a very interesting pattern on the weekly chart, that will be double top pattern that can be seen on the weekly chart for Bank Nifty. So whose breakdowns will come around 43,600 zone. So if it happens, then we can see a disrupt in the technical chart, and 43,200 will be the immediate target on the downside, followed by 43,000 for the short-term traders. So overall picture for Bank Nifty is worse as compared to Nifty 50. But saying that at the same levels at 43,600 proves to be a very strong support, then from here onwards, one can expect a decent rally in Bank Nifty. And once Bank Nifty starts moving higher, then it will be giving very positive sentiments for the overall market. So one should wait for any kind of formation in Bank Nifty. If it happens, 43,600, from here onwards, one can even see a very positive up move also. Or if a breakdown comes, then one can see a very steep correction also. So for Bank Nifty, one should try to have a patience as of now and try to look for stock specific action, which is having very strong significance for Bank Nifty index. So overall, stock specific action should be taking place for Bank Nifty, and one should wait for the levels to come in the index.
Okay. Well, on that note, let's shift focus to stocks. You do have a handful of these banks. One of them, of course, is a large bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank, which is down around 1.5%. RBL Bank is the other one, which is also under a bit of pressure, which is down around 2.6%. And of course, the largest loser on the Nifty at the moment is Lotus Labs. We're seeing a significant amount of shorts building up there as well. Other than that, we have Adani Ports and Tata Motors as well, to a certain extent weighing down on the indices. So there is some amount of short traction there. Let's also take a look at what's happening on the gaining end, and not much to speak for, in fact, because it's largely just Bajaj Finance and ICICI Bank marginally in the green, trying to give some support to the markets in general. Large caps, heavyweights like HDFC Bank and Reliance Industries are flattish, marginally in the green at the moment. But pardon me. Osho, why don't you take us through some of the stock calls that you have and how you would play through either futures or options?
See, overall, there are very, very few counters which are looking very positive as of now, because as you have mentioned, majority of the banking counters are on a very selling spree. So one should try to avoid those counters, especially the bulls. But obviously for the from trader point of view, there are plenty of options, because here market looks attractive on the selling side. But looking at the overall picture, there are some of the counters which have seen some kind of positive formation for the bulls. The first one that I have picked from on the technical perspective is Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy, if we will be seeing the overall technical charts, then it is forming a channel breakout on the daily time formation. And even looking at the overall chart formation, then it is hovering just above all the exponential moving average. So there is positive sentiments which is associated with Dr. Reddy, and currently it is hovering near to 56.30, 56.20 odd zone. So one should try to accumulate this counter at the current levels. From here onwards, one can expect the higher end to 5800 to 5820, which is the immediate swing high. So from here onwards, one can expect a decent rally in Dr. Reddy. Overall chart structure looks very positive. But for aggressive traders, it is advisable to keep a strict stop loss of 5460 zone, because if it breaches below 5460, then the current formation for Dr. Reddy will get hampered, and again it can slip on the downside. So one should stay strict with the stop losses of 5460. The second counter which is looking positive as of now is ICICI GI. General insurance is looking very positive. Overall, the technical features and technical parameters are on the higher end. It is nearing the zone of 1400, which is being a psychological mark, can be a crucial level to make or break. So one should, aggressive traders or those who can take a risk, they should apply for ICICI GI at current levels, putting a very minimum stop loss of 1380, which is hardly 1.5% of a stop loss, for the upside target of 1440 for short-term perspective.
Okay. So, well, those are two calls coming in from Osho, and both are positive at the moment. So watch out for that. Some very crucial, well, technical factors coming into play for, plenty of these. But if in general, of course, we're keeping an eye on the markets for now, which are recovering from days lows, but it's going to be a wait and watch, considering we have so much going on, not only in our own markets but also a lot going on geopolitically. Well, on that note, I'm going to thank you, Osho, for joining us and taking us through your views on the markets. And of course, but don't go anywhere. There's lots more lined up. Specifically, I want to talk about Ganesh Housing, which stocks trades under pressure. And we are going to have a conversation with the management there as well. Shekhar Patel, he is the MD of Ganesh Housing, coming up for you at 11. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching BQ Prime, and we will keep bringing you more.